York City. I'm here with Ryan McGinnis. He is the head of marketing at Voices. Hi Ryan, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So let's talk about voice. It's obviously a hot topic right now, but are voice technologies for everyone?
Yeah, I think it really depends on what kind of company you are. I think that we're seeing the faster adoption rates in apparel and furniture and different kinds of retailers that have large product catalogs.
Okay.
So for companies that realize that mobile search, so search and discovery is a big use case we're seeing for voice. For people that realize that the mobile search experience is broken, voice is a really easy way for them to be able to search, refine, filter, do all of those great things that make the mobile experience a lot better with really large product catalogs. So I think we're seeing the earliest adoption from those folks.
Awesome. So, what should retailers know about voice? How should they gauge whether it's right for their business or not?
Yeah, so I say firstly, it's about understanding your consumer, understanding how they shop today, understanding what kinds of things they want to do with your product. I think that understanding about voice is trying to figure out how many resources you can allocate towards it. You should treat it like it's a new product, not a side project for one person to go after. It's very serious. We like to compare it to the advent innovation of mobile devices because it's just a new mode of interacting that a lot of people can have that great experience that mobile devices deliver today. So when it comes to investing in mobile, it's about knowing where your consumers are today, how many of them are using Alexa devices, do they use voice at all in their homes, and do you think that it could benefit greatly their searching experience, interacting with their brand?
Awesome. Yeah. So, voice sounds, it's a big topic and it sounds almost difficult. Are there any challenges that retailers should know about when implementing voice?
I think it's important to understand the market, and all the vendors are very different. The limitations of certain folks like Alexa and Google Home can only do so much, and then you have folks like Nuance and Watson that are very robust platforms, more professional services and custom work heavy. So it's about understanding what your goals are first, and then seeing which one of those vendors map back to hopefully helping you do that. We're one of those two.
Awesome. So now, you said 2018 is going to be the year when brands need to own the voice experience.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Do you need an Alexa? Do you need Google Home to do all of this?
Yeah, sure. So I think that Amazon get everybody really comfortable using voice and being comfortable talking to something. But the year of voice meaning that a lot of people are investing in skills and the adoption rate hasn't been there yet. And so brands are trying to figure out, do they invest in another platform, Amazon, which likely is a competitor of theirs, or do they try to work in voice to their native digital properties? And so that means, do I just have voice on my mobile app or my website as opposed to hoping that someone will interact with Nike or Adidas on a Google Home? And it's about trying to figure out what experience you want to craft for your users. In a lot of cases with retail, not a lot of people know what they want when they first get to your site, especially with clothing and different kinds of apparel. So having that screen, that multimodal interface is huge with voice. So when brands own that voice experience themselves, there are aspects of it that might be okay for just an assistant, reordering groceries, everyday items, things like that. But when you're really trying to make sure that users can follow that path of what they're looking for, men's running shoes in size 12, under $200, only in black, that kind of conversational aspect, having that on your own website, you get the data, you understand what people are asking for, that's a lot more impactful for your brand.
Awesome, so you could actually just enable voice into an app or a web experience. Can you do it in a web experience too?
Yep.
Interesting. So let me see, my next question here is what kind of information can retailers get? What kind of data can they get from voice about their customers that could eventually lead to a greater customer experience?
Sure. I think that what people ask for using their voice can be very different than what they type in because we've been conditioned to type a certain way, whereas if we ask for too many things with too many keywords, it might not return anything.
Right.
So there's a lot of onboarding that needs to happen so that users can understand they can just ask for things like I just did, with just like naturally like they would do in the house or when they were describing something they want for their birthday or whatever it might be. But I think that what's most important for them is to understand what kinds of things people are asking for. What are the intents? Are they all new searches? Are they all take me to my cart? I'm looking to add this to my cart.
Okay.
What sorts of things do people find the greatest utility in voice? And then obviously the things that they ask for can really drive your campaigns as a marketer. If you notice that everybody's looking for men's running shirts or women's dresses or things like that, you can then kind of take that data and then retarget some of those folks that tend to use voice as that first entryway. So there's a lot of different things you can do once you have that data. And like our platform, you get access to all of that data, which is very rare in the voice space right now. A lot of companies are trying to keep that for themselves.
Okay.
But that's really empowering as a brand to have all that interaction.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said that voice SEO versus native voice search is kind of a big topic, big debate right now. Can you discuss that a little bit? What does that mean?
Yeah, sure. So I think that marketers obviously are paying attention to where the attention is of the consumer. And right now, with over 30 million devices in circulation just in the US alone, all the marketers are trying to figure out how do they become top of mind on the device. And Amazon recently came out and said that they're thinking about doing ads. And so a lot of marketers are trying to figure out how do I become that number one product that recommends, if I spill something, I need to wipe it up, that Tide or Bounty or whatever that product is becomes the first one, because we're realizing that in retail, Amazon has the number one mind share, or people go there first to search products as opposed to Google. So there's a lot of value in the platform. But where marketers need to understand the struggle with that is that they don't own that brand experience. That experience is delivered through a device that is not on their properties. So there are a lot of ways that can be beneficial for you in terms of SEO, but the real value is where customers are already shopping today. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of people are trying to predict how their customers are going to ask for something on a device that is pretty much only serving 3 or 4 things really well, music, to-dos, reminders, timers, but people are shopping on your websites and mobile apps today. So how do you make that experience when they've already landed on your site that much better with voice, because it serves much more of an immediate utility in that sense, whereas the SEO stuff I think is just smoke and mirrors right now until Amazon actually invests in that.
Got it. So my final question for you would be, what are some, key takeaways around voice, some tips, best practices for retailers, looking to, implement the technology in the future?
Yeah, I think it's really important for them to understand that voice is here to stay. I think that I make the comparison that a lot of retailers think that it was like the Apple Watch, and you invest in an app that you develop for an Apple Watch, and everyone's going to love it because the Apple Watch is just going to explode.
Right.
And this is still very early days of voice, but it's very similar to when the smartphone first came out. 10 years ago, a little over that, when the iPhone came out, the adoption numbers were there, everybody was getting excited, but they weren't quite sure if they wanted to come out with a smart device or their iPhone app or whatever it might be. But I would say that it's really important for them to take it seriously. I think that last year, 1% of retailers were thinking about voice. We did a report with you guys that said about 50% of retailers are thinking about voice this year, which is really important because I think that they understand that's how people are naturally going to interact in the short term. It's not AR, it's not VR, it's not something that you feel is 2027. It's something that's 2018 and that people actually prefer to do a lot of their interactions with today. So take it seriously, invest in real resources behind it, treat it like a new product launch or a new feature, and talk to your customers. Ask them if they'll love it, give them access to beta access, and try to figure out how they want to use voice, because it should be complementary to the things you're doing on other channels.
Awesome. So finally, just to wrap things up, I'd love for you to tell the audience a little bit about Voices and what you guys do.
Yeah, sure. So we're Voices. We're a voice AI platform. And really high level, we make it really easy for retailers to spin up their own native voice experiences. So like we talked about on their websites, their mobile apps, ways that consumers are already interacting with their brand today. And it's super easy. They give us their product catalog, their search history. We build a model off of that, make it really intelligent to the things that matter most to them, and actually understand how people want to interact with their brand and search for things that are on their site, not taking a guess like transcription services do and try to figure out what you're asking for. We actually know because we have all of that data about your brand. So we're very brand specific, retail specific, e-commerce, and we're helping those folks do voice really well.
Great, and it's important to know that your customers don't have to have an Amazon device or a Google Home in order to utilize voice and make it worthy for their shopping experience.
Exactly. Yeah, we take the approach of we wanted to make it really easy to democratize voice, to make it so that anybody could have access to it on whatever platform. We're an API-based platform, so whether that's web, mobile, IoT, however you want to implement it, it's not just specific to a piece of hardware or somebody else's brand guidelines they've defined for you. We want to basically give you the keys to the kingdom to figure out how it can best serve your audience.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time and for joining us today. Thanks everyone for checking this out, and we'll see you soon.